Hi there, my name is Joseph Armacida, and this is my presentation for my service project experience. I volunteered with the Crosswalk Church. It is my home church that I personally grew up in and have been attending for 30 years out of my 32 years of life. It is my home church. And on Wednesday nights, we have a Wednesday night program called Awana Club. So, a little bit of background about my church. So we were formerly known as the Reynoldsburg Alliance Church. We were established in 1972 as a church plant for people who had a desire to see the city of Reynoldsburg, Ohio, experience life and the freedom in Jesus Christ. Um, the church is a part of an organization that is known as the Christian Missionary Alliance. And the church still has that driving desire to share the love of Jesus with all of the city of Reynoldsburg. And the whole slogan for the Christian Missionary Alliance, which goes hand in hand with this, is all of Jesus for all the world. So, Awana Club. Um, Awana Club is an organization that is heavily focused on missions and taking Jesus to other countries around the world. They have programs that are tailored to a wide range of children from pre-K, ages 2 and 3, all the way up to 12th grade in high school. This program is designed to teach students to properly apply the Bible to their lives. Awana Club is held weekly on Wednesday nights to hang out with other students of all ages and build connections and hopefully a lasting faith in God. So, my service experience, um, we spent time studying scripture, discipleship, and community building. So, basically, the nights are broken up into three categories. There's game time, where all of the students amongst the different age groups play games together. Obviously, we keep them less physically invasive so that the younger ones stand a chance and don't get hurt. Um, then we move into small group time. Our late elementary school group is quite large, so we have to divide them up into even smaller groups. Um, but in that time, we study a lesson that is for that week, and then we memorize Bible verses. Um, so we read through the handbook with our students and teach them the lesson for that chapter. And throughout the lesson, there are memory verses that the kids have to memorize. And once they memorize it, they can move on to the next chapter. Um, and we teach these lessons to our students and allow them to talk about it, what they think everything is um, really trying to say to them. And this helps them to build these bonds that they might not otherwise build outside of this setting. So, how does Awana associate with Robert Greenleaf and his theories? So, first, I think that we have to look at what the core values of Awana are, and those are um, values based on biblical principles. So Awana emphasizes integrity, respect, and servant leadership that's grounded in biblical truths for character development. Um, their age specific programs that are tailored for groups of all ages. There's the two second or eight ages 2 to 3. Then they go to Cubbies, which is the preschool age, Sparks for early elementary, TNT or Truth in Training for late upper elementary, and Trek for middle school, and Journey for high school. Um, each program tier focuses on Bible teaching and scripture memorization that is appropriate to the child's developmental level. And then Awana programs also include service opportunities to nurture spiritual maturity and leadership skills from an early age. I actually participated in Awana when I was that age, and it was fun. It taught me a lot, and it helped me to root myself in my faith. So now we go to understanding Robert Greenleaf and his model of servant leadership. Servant leaders Servant leadership is about putting the needs of others above one's own personal desires and ambitions for the sake of growth and empowerment of those being served. The model of servant leadership comes from Robert Greenleaf, who was considered a pioneer in leadership. He worked for AT&T until he retired. But what he did was he empowered people of um, all nationality, skin color, and gender to promote them into positions that were not just menial. He put them into positions that were best suited for their skill set, which is ultimately what servant leaders should be doing in a place of employment like that. And in youth leadership, it is ideal to instill these leadership skills in them at an early age because then they can absorb it much easier than trying to change themselves as an adult, which we all know is hard to do. The servant leadership skills that were used in my experience were stewardship. We leaders at Crosswalk Church, we take ownership to be the stewards in our community, um, and to the kids of Reynoldsburg schools, or more specifically, Rose Hill Elementary, which is right across the crosswalk from us. We foster a supportive culture that builds a sense of community for kids to build bonds with others and commitment to growth. We, as Awana leaders in our church, are committed to the physical and spiritual growth of the kids in our program and in our care at that time. My experience in comparison with T.W. Lewis, um, be I used to serve in my church all the time. I served in several areas: worship team, children's ministry, in several capacities. But I had to stop for personal reasons. Being back with the students felt great. Um, I served by donating my time, and truly learning what it meant to be a servant leader. The curriculum that is used is very straightforward. You're really just teaching from a book, um, but for me, it was about tithing my time and helping the kids. And so it was a good refresher of what I used to do, and I hope to go back to doing it some point in the near future. Servant leadership values and beliefs The relationship between servant leadership, values, beliefs affect long-term takeaways in many ways. They build trust and culture. Our personal values as servant leaders work to create foundations of trust, which can help enable leaders to lead effectively and increase satisfaction in those that they are serving and leading. It promotes positive behavior change. And also, the long term impact is when servant leaders model proper behaviors, it works to persuade kids who are our future leaders to model those similar behavioral patterns so that they can continue to carry the torch that we once carried. And other practical ways that we can demonstrate servant leadership in Awana Club is active listening, mentorship opportunities, and service projects.